Senator Kennedy just went nuclear in today's hearing, exposing shocking tweets, radical claims, and a Democratic witness who can't hide her bias. Here's exactly what happened.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for having to miss the testimony of some of you, and I appreciate you coming today. Professor Franks, let me ask you, I listened to your and Ms. Hemingway's testimony and Professor Turley's, so I got part of it. As I understand it, your position, Professor Franks, is that, I think you used the word myth. It is a myth that the Biden administration used government to compel speech, private speech, but that the Trump administration is doing that. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Do you think perhaps you're allowing your personal political beliefs to affect your objectivity here?
No, I do not. What is guiding my answers here is that I'm looking to see what the Supreme Court has said. You notice that in the tesmoony about the censorship industrial complex.
I got that part.
No, I just want to clarify.
No, but I've only got 5 minutes. Your answer is no, as I appreciate it. Let me ask you a couple questions. You wrote a law review article in December of 2023 for the New York University Law Review, and it was about the two cases, Bruen, Supreme Court case, and Dobbs. Remember that article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In this article, you said, I'm going to quote your words, "Taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy," end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, "When the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, "By simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court," referring to the current United States Supreme Court, "has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well," close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay. In November of 2024, you tweet, don't you?
I'm not sure what the current terminology is for it, but yes, I am sometimes on the social platform that was formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, you're on a lot, aren't you?
I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
You try to be provocative on there, don't you?
Again, I'm not sure what the relevance
Well,
of this question
let me
is.
show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m., quote, "The majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this
Did you
hearing.
say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance of
Here
that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me like your favorite feeling is anger. Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, "There's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly? That's
Is there
my
a question that is relevant to this hearing?
Did I read that correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court, is guided by white male supremacy?
I believe that the First Amendment prohibits the president
Did you
and other
say
state
that?
officials for punishing people for
Did
their
you honestly say that, Professor?
I
And you
believe
expect us,
that the First
as a
Amendment-
Democratic witness, to take you seriously? Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
I believe that you should
The
take the
time
First
has
Amendment
expired. Thank you.
seriously.
Senator Durbin.
Senator John Kennedy goes nuclear, calling out a Democratic witness over her shocking past statements and tweets. This hearing was supposed to be about government accountability, but instead, it revealed something much bigger, a blatant disregard for objectivity and a culture of political bias in the halls of power. Kennedy didn't hold back. From the start, he confronted Professor Franks on her own writings, including a law review article in December 2023 that accused the Supreme Court of embracing racial patriarchy and privileging white men's ability to harm others. He read her words aloud, and the reaction was telling. The witness admitted she wrote the statements, but questioned their relevance. Kennedy made it clear, these are not abstract ideas. They are statements that shape how policy is interpreted and enforced. Then came the social media trail. Tweets from November 2024 and May 2022 were laid bare. Franks reportedly wrote that the majority of Americans hate women more than they love democracy, and that the Supreme Court's rulings on firearms reflected white male supremacy. Senator Kennedy systematically pressed her. Did she really mean this? Were these statements politically motivated? And could she, as an officer of the court, take the First Amendment seriously while making such incendiary claims? Her evasive answers spoke volumes. Throughout the hearing, Kennedy highlighted a consistent pattern: political beliefs overriding professional judgment. He challenged her attempts to distance herself from both President Biden and former President Trump, noting that her favorite feeling seemed to be anger. The senator cut through every deflection, demanding accountability. He repeatedly asked for clarity, making it impossible for the witness to dodge the implications of her statements. By the end of the exchange, the message was clear. This wasn't just a single witness. It was emblematic of a broader problem. When those entrusted with advising government institutions allow personal ideology to overshadow impartial analysis, the American people lose. Kennedy framed it as a matter of principle. The First Amendment exists to protect citizens, but when elites weaponize speech, it becomes a tool of partisanship, not justice. This hearing may have been almost unwatchable to some, but it served a critical purpose. Senator Kennedy exposed the tension between professional obligations and political bias, forcing the witness to confront the consequences of her words and actions. For Republicans, it's a reminder that vigilance is necessary whenever ideology infiltrates institutions that are supposed to be nonpartisan. The takeaway is stark. Americans deserve officials who act objectively, not in service of a political narrative. Senator Kennedy's interrogation highlighted the disconnect between elite legal commentary and the real-world responsibility of government accountability. And as this hearing continues to make waves, one thing is certain: partisan bias in the courtroom and in public discourse is no longer theoretical. It is front and center, and Republican voices are making sure it's called out. This is the kind of oversight and scrutiny that matters. This is why hearings like this exist, and this is why Americans are watching, learning, and demanding honesty from those who claim expertise but let personal ideology dictate their judgment. Senator Kennedy didn't just ask questions, he delivered a message. And for the Right Side Report audience, that message is clear. Accountability, transparency, and respect for the Constitution are not partisan. They are essential.